Hi, I'm Myra Michaels and I'm in tech support here at YSI, and I'd like to go through the menu structure of the 182. Okay. So as you can see, we have 6 buttons on the 182. The M button I like to think of as the main screen. If you are inside any of the menus in the 182 and you need to get back out of them, you can press the M button to take you back to the main screen. The C button I like to think of as check or calibrate or a matrix adjustment. So that's where you're going to go in and you're going to do any kind of calibrations to a sensor or check your sensor or do a matrix adjustment. Your S button will take you into a settings menu where you can set up outputs and links. The escape button will take you back one menu, and the OK button is going to advance one menu. Your up and down arrow keys are just going to help you maneuver through the screens. The M button will help you can scroll through the menus with the M button. So as you can see, I can press the M button again. It's going to show me my 2 sensors in smaller font. Press it again. It's going to show me the outputs and links in my relays. I press it again and I see 1 sensor. It'll scroll to my second sensor because I have 2 sensors installed here. And I can press it again and then I will be back on that original screen where we can see both of the sensors. From here I'd like to cover the OK button. So from the main menu you press the OK button and it's going to take you into a menu. It's called Properties. And from here we can put the sensors we have installed into the maintenance condition. It'll freeze the outputs and links. I can show you, press the OK button. It asks you, do you want to freeze the outputs and links to this sensor? If I say OK, you can see that sensor 1 is now flashing. So it's in maintenance mode. I want to take it out of maintenance mode. I'll go back again. Property screen, maintenance, SO1 meaning sensor 1. Press OK. It says release the outputs linked to this sensor, and press OK, and once again we got rid of the flashing. So going back into the OK, that was maintenance on sensor 1. We could do the same on sensor 2. We can see the sensor status of sensors 1 and 2 that I have installed. I'm just going to look at one of them. Sensor 1, which is our SensorNet, gives us the sensor status. It's got a happy face. That's a good calibration. It's got the serial number and the current software. I'm going to press the escape button and then we can go down. We could look at the sensor status of sensor 2, but we don't need to do that. And we can also look at the system status. Press OK to get in there. It tells us it has happy faces for operating voltage and for communication. It also tells us the sensor number, or I'm sorry, the serial number of the 182 and the software version. Now, I could either press escape to go back out 1, or I could press the main menu, or the M button to go back to the main menu. But since we're still on the list of properties, let's look at the list of all components. This is going to tell us what's in the system. So you can see here we have a little down arrow. So right now I see I have a SensorNet. Gives me software and the serial number. Shows me an FDO, software serial number. Tells me I have a DIQ-CR3 with the software and the serial number. So like I said, we're just going to go down through the list. It shows us exactly what we have in the system. I'll press the escape key there, and that is the list of everything that is in the properties menu. Once again, we can get to that from the main screen by pressing the OK screen, the OK button. So let's go back to the main button. I told you about the C button for calibration or for a sensor check. I've got my pH sensor highlighted. So if I hit the C button with the pH sensor highlighted, that is going to go into the SensorNet. And it says the linked outputs are frozen during calibration. So at this point I could say OK. That freezes it. And then it's going to walk me through a calibration. I'm going to escape because I don't have any technical buffers ready and I don't want to I don't want to block my sensor for measuring. Once again, we see that it is in maintenance condition, and as we did before, I'm going to press the OK button, sensor 1, release the outputs, OK, and as you can see, we're now out of maintenance condition. The last button we need to cover is the S button. The S button takes us to the settings. We can choose a language. We can get into each one of the sensors. In this case, I'm going to look at sensor 1, which is the sensorlet. If I press OK, it's going to give me this warning. If the measuring mode or measuring range is changed, the links of the sensors are erased. We don't have anything linked. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Even if I did have something linked, as long as I didn't change the measuring mode or the measuring range, everything would be fine. And this is where you can get into the settings of your individual sensors. So as you can see, it's giving me the sensor name, or in this case, it's giving me the serial number. If I go down to the measuring mode, I could choose, for this sensor in particular, I could choose either pH or millivolts, and I'll hit the escape button to go back one. Temperature, you can choose either Fahrenheit or Celsius. Calibration procedure, and you can choose Caltech Auto, which is what we would prefer. You can choose one of the other, Calcon 1 or Calcon 2. Our calibration is valid. Now, if I had just done another calibration and it was invalid, and I came up with a bunch of lines for the sensor, for the calibration, it was blocked for measuring, I could come back into this screen and I would have a second choice here. It would say invalid, and then I would have last valid calibration. I could choose that, and it would put the sensor back online until I could get a new electrode. Temperature adjustment, save and quit. If you've made any changes, make sure that you save and quit. Otherwise, you've just kind of gone through it for no reason. In this case, I'm going to just hit quit and say, okay, that's going to take me back into that settings menu. Now here, we can choose to link our relays. We can choose to link our outputs. Or we can take a look at the system. Here we can change the date and the time. You can set your pressure and altitude. And you can lock calibration. You can activate a password here. So you can also change your display contrast, or change your sensor numbers, and this miscellaneous and delivery state. It says that if you get into the miscellaneous or the delivery state, all sensors and system settings will be lost. So we don't usually have to get in there. I just wanted to show that to you. Now, since I'm in the system settings menu, I'm going to press the M button to go back to the main menu. So that is basically how to navigate the menus of the 182.